guys, they will be dealing with these questions. Actually, there are two questions from the same question paper. So this question are based on quadratic number pattern. The first question, they say determine the minimum term of the quadratic number pattern. And the second question, they say the first difference of the other two consecutive terms is 90. Determine those two terms. Yeah, we'll deal with the second one after we are done with the first question. So let's check what actually we can do for the first question in order to be completed. So this is very, very simple. So what we're actually going to do, so to find the minimum term of a quadratic number pattern, so as you can check, the equation is a quadratic equation. So that equation can be a parabola graph. And we know that from the parabola graph, a parabola graph can either be concave up or concave down. So a parabola graph can be concave up or concave down. So what determines the concavity of a parabola graph? What determines the concavity of a parabola graph is the coefficient of the term with the variable squared. At this point, we are dealing with n squared. So the coefficient of n squared, which is the value of a. In most cases, parabola graph is based on y value and the x value. So it means the coefficient of x squared value, the x squared variable. So that's the value that will determine the concavity of the graph. So now you can see we have n squared. So it means the coefficient of n squared is positive, which is positive 1. So the graph is concave up. Therefore, we are going to talk about the minimum term. So what we are going to do, we can find the first thing we can do is to find the position of the minimum term first, which is n, and then after that we can find the term. Or other way you can do it. What you can do again is you can complete the square on the equation, then you will find the minimum term, such as so simple. So how can we do it? So to find the position of that minimum term, we're going to use the formula n is equal to minus b all over minimum position. To find the position of the minimum term. So it's going to be minus into, we know, all over 2 into positive 1, which is the value of a. Therefore, that we find that n is equal to positive 2. So it means that the minimum term on this equation, the minimum position, the position of the minimum term on this quadratic number pattern is position number 2. So that is the turning point of our graph, because that's a graph actually, but in number pattern we don't deal with the negative n values, so which are the x values in the parabola graph. So the position will always be positive, which is the value of n. So we find that the position of the minimum term is 2. Therefore, we can find that minimum term by using the equation, which is Tn. Therefore, now we are Tn for n minus 5. So this is our equation. To find the minimum term, wherever we see n, we are going to substitute 2. So we are looking for T2 is equal to 2 in bracket squared minus 4 into 2 minus 5. So this is equal to 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 multiplied by positive 2 is negative 8 minus 5, which is equal to negative 5, negative 8 is negative 8. Yeah, you confirm with your calculators. So I can conclude from this question that the minimum term is negative 9. So that was just simple. So let us go to the next question if we do understand the first one. The next question, they say the first difference of the two consecutive terms is 19. So with quadratic number pattern, then we have the first difference to subtract by term number 1, term number 2, subtract by term number 2. So we get the first difference. Then we have the second difference, which is the constant. But now they say this, the first difference of other two consecutive terms, which is a term in the first differences. So they say it's 19. Determine those two terms. How do we find that? How do we actually solve that kind of a question? So what we know is we have T1 from the quadratic number pattern. Then to go to term number, then to get term number 2. Then to go to term number 3, we add 1 to the position, which is 2. Then we go to term number 3. That's how. So two consecutive terms are those two terms which are consecutive. So I don't know how to explain it. Like for instance, like we have T1, then we have T2. So T1 and T2 are consecutive terms, which they follow each other. Then T3 and T2, they are consecutive terms. So they said the two consecutive terms in the quadratic number pattern, their first difference is equal to 19. So we don't know those terms, but we can assume that the position of the first term maybe is n. Then the second position, the position of the second term, it will be n plus 1. Like we say, the position, those term is t. So again, the following term, it will be t n plus 1. Because what we said is that when we are looking for two consecutive terms, the positions, the difference of the position is just 1. Like to move from T1 to T2, we just add 1. To move from T2 to T3, we just add 1. T2 to T4, we just add 1, etc. Then what we are going to do, they said the first difference of these two terms is equal to 19, not negative 19, sorry. So 19. But how can you solve this question? To find it, the first difference is this term, 1 minus Tn must give me 19. Okay, so this is the position of the terms, and we are given the quadratic number pattern, which is Tn is equal to n minus 5. This is the equation. Therefore, we can substitute the equation n plus 1 on the equation of the general term. So it's going to be n plus 1 squared 1 minus 5, then minus the general term, because the position of this term we're subtracting from the position of the term we're subtracting to. So its position is just n squared minus 4, because we have more than one term, which is equal to 19, because we know their first difference is equal to what? 19. Therefore, we solve for n. So in order to solve for n, we're going to say n squared, then it's going to be n multiplied by 1 multiplied by 2, which is plus 2. Therefore, negative 4 multiplied by n is equal to negative 4, and negative 4 multiplied by positive 1 is equal to negative 4 minus 5. Therefore, negative 1 multiplied by positive n squared is equal to negative n squared. Negative 1 for n. Negative 1 multiplied by negative 5 is equal to positive 5, which is equal to 19. So simple. So you can see that n squared minus n squared, they cancel each other. Therefore, 2n minus 4n is minus 2n. Therefore, plus 4n is 2n. Or in other words, we're just going to say negative 4n plus 4n, they cancel each other, you're left with 2n. So we have negative 5 and positive 5, so they cancel each other again. 4 plus 1, negative 4 plus 1, which is this one, which is negative 3 here. Not negative 4, we have negative 3, which is equal to 19. So simple. Therefore, to solve for n, we take negative 3 to the other side to 8. So it's going to be 2n is equal to 19 plus 3 is equal to 22. Therefore, we divide by 2 both sides. Divide by 2. Therefore, n is equal to 11. Therefore, so we found that the first term, which is its position, which is n, is equal to 11. Then to get the second term, we're just going to add n is equal to 1, 2, which is 12. Therefore, to find those two terms, we're just going to take the values and substitute on the original equation. So let's go up, and 11, which is 11, is equal to 11 squared minus 4 into 11 minus 5. Therefore, yeah, answer is going to be, I think, 72. Therefore, again, T12 is equal to 12 into 12, then minus 5. I think it's going to give you around, I think it's going to give you negative 12 squared is how much? So 12 squared, I think it's going to give you around much? I think 97 somewhere. 97, I think. So 97, how much do we get? So 97 minus 72 is going to be 90 minus 70, which is 27. 27 minus 2, which is not 97. The answer is wrong. You just confirm with the calculator. But this is how, guys, we do this question. So subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.